My name's Thomas Cleveland. I am 26. I live in Cornwall. Do you want my address or is that weird? And I am a builder / carpenter. This is my Creation Fest story. My story is that I grew up in a Christian home and knew all the Christian things, knew everything about who God was, what he was like. I was very much taught those things. But up until the age of I'd say between 12 and 14, going to school is very confusing when you're a Christian. People used to just call me a Christian just because I went to church. And I always argued saying that if I go to a garage, am I a car? And the answer for me was always no. From that, I think I always wanted to feel accepted by people. And so I tried my best to look like not a Christian so that people wouldn't associate with me with that. Because I wanted to be part of the cool school people, as everyone does. From that age, from 14, 15, even though I was going to youth group every week, I just knew in my heart I didn't believe it and knew that I wasn't that interested. I spent a lot of time arguing with people. And so from the age of 16, 17, I fully knew in my heart that I did not believe in God, nor was I interested in believing in God. And so I walked away from going to youth group because I was too old anyway. And I started dating someone at the time. Turned out to be a long-term relationship. Felt like life was very easy, had a nice car, had a good job. Still went to church because I wanted to keep my parents happy. We broke up and then I went on kind of a find yourself rampage at the age of 21. And for me that looked like going out partying and drinking and all those sorts of things that you do when you feel like you can do what you want and then you feel like you found yourself in those moments because everyone accepts you because you'll do whatever they say and you're doing what they're doing. So I went through that for a year, got into kind of seeing someone, kind of messing around, I guess I'd call it. It wasn't a serious relationship. There was a lot of manipulation. There was a lot of situations where I genuinely would sit there and be like, what is going on? This is not normal. Didn't know what to do with it, didn't know how to react, didn't know who to speak to because I was like, I can't tell people this. That happened for 4 months. I started speaking to people from church. I spoke to Joe Keogh, who you guys know. Just kind of asked him, I was like, what the hell do I do? I feel like I'm stuck. And he was like, mate, you've got to just run from the situation and the consequences of that are not for you. That is not your responsibility. So that's what kind of pulled me out of that situation. One of my best mates' dads came up to me because I was still going to church and said that God loves me and look, Jesus has a plan for my life. And I don't want to say for the first time in my life, but definitely I recognized for the first time in my life that someone radically loved me. And so from there, I just was Christianity is so much different than I ever thought. These people genuinely care about me. And because of that, I started asking myself questions and no question I asked did I leave thinking, well, that's definitely not real. Or, oh, that's definitely real. There was so much of an in-between stage. I kind of battled through those questions and ended up at Creation Fest, which I actually wasn't gonna stay at. I went and I was working for the week because I wanted to save up and go traveling. I think I wanted to go at the time. It got to the Sunday and I started asking people, I was like, should I just stay for the week? And so I rang Dad and straight away he was like, yeah, do it. It got to the Tuesday and I'd heard these sermons for years. I've been to Creation Fest for 8, 9 years before this. Would sit there in silence and just listen to it and it did nothing. Carl Beach was speaking on the Tuesday morning, I think it was. I don't remember any of the sermon. All I remember is 2 sentences of it. And he said that when you look at a painting, you think of a painter. So why when you look at creation, do you not think of a creator? For me, that was my light bulb moment where I was God's real. He has to be. And because of that, I knew I couldn't debate being a Christian anymore. And I was like, if this is real, why would I ever run? I would be a fool to run. I waited because it didn't feel right on the altar call straight after. And I waited till the next day. I went out to go to the toilet, came back in, and something said to me that I didn't want to be in the crowd. I stood to the side and just watched for a while. And then my pastor and assistant pastor, they walked past me and I looked straight at them and I knew in my heart, I was like, this is my moment. It's now or never. I grabbed my best mate, went up to them and was like, look, I want to give my life to God right now. We went to the back room. That was where I would say I got saved, which was in 2018, 8th the 8th, 18. That was coming up to 4 years ago. And life's just been so different ever since. Because of that situation during Creation Fest, I'm here today. And now I get to tell other people about it, which is cool.